Very good morning, everybody. Today, one of the most significant factor and also very emphasized in GS3 with respect to security concern. You know, it may be looked upon the things on economic sphere, but not absolutely only for the economic sphere, it is also for the security concern. Because money can change the world in a positive way and definitely has its own coin of twin faces, that is in a negative sphere which hampers the society and also the national capacity building. Yes, we agree upon the historical sense. The look upon the transaction between the economic sphere is not one goal of objective. It is an intermediate effect, how we think and how we feel. This is the chapter of money laundering or the corruption activities which involved in the several distinguished subjective interpretation. What is an objective here? That is a money. What is a subjective here? How we utilize it. That is the thing. You know how important the money. If you concentrate the historical prosperity, the Arthashastra, the Chanakya, the Kautilya, the great ideologically interpreted the economic sphere, how to delegate ourselves with the sophisticated manner. He emphasized the great contribution towards the kingdom era with respect to Maurya dynasty and also his legacy of the economic sphere and the Tattvarya, the Siddhanta is absolutely the Arka Siddhanta is contributed from Chandragupta Maurya dynasty itself. So, it is not only the case of the kingdom era of monarchy, which is emphasized in earlier the kingdom evolution sphere of the years. It is also now the current modernity, the society is well-being absolutely for the money transaction. So money laundering means there will be a clear picture here. There is a black money, there is a white money. What do you mean by black money? That is illegal or illegalized or unorganized money, which is not documented from the government of India or any administrative protocol with respect to India, and it is also not only the case of India itself. It is an international domain picture. You know, the corruption elsewhere is nothing will be developed, nothing welfareism, nothing society hierarchy, not going to happen for even the bottom-up approach is not absolutely meaningful, and top-down approach is not adequate enough, you know. So, let us concentrate the money laundering chapter not even only for the GS3 main itself, it is an administrative concern and it is also the transparency between the people to people, soul to soul, individual to individual. So, this is the brief introduction on money laundering and how the subjective on regarding of the challenges occur in between the society from past decades and before in what case it was and what are the solutions for this regard. This is the chapter of identity. Now we are going to deliver on it. Yes, the money is a subjective of a coin base. Earlier, you know, society demand the money for their livelihood. But now, you know the condition assessment for the society. About 84% or 64 marginally, 64% of the wealth is in the hands of only 19 or 18% of the population. Don't you know it is a vulnerability to the society? What kind of activity we are going to project for next generation if it is goes viral? It is also called as a viral fever. You know, the more the money, less the ethic. Less the ethic, there is no welfareism. This is the concept. Yes, absolutely, we have a great democratic country, diversified nature, very cultural soft power, but we are not adequate enough to deal the greed. His Excellency, the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, emphasized the need and greed distinguish phenomena. The need is absolute in nature, the greed is not an absolute in nature, because how much you are greed to any objective or any goal, whether it is a positive, the positive sense will be occur. whether it is a negative, it won't be sophisticated, reaching the last mile record. So this is one agenda. Concentrate, it enables the sphere of unorganized money that may be occurred from the organized crime. Why it is so called as a crime? There is no killing here, but definitely someone are maintaining the imbalance of the society to correct enough and giving a financial condition to assist the propagation of the greed. It is an organized crime. ಸೊ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ತತ್ವ ಆಧಾರಿತವಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಮುದಾಯವನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪಂಚಿಕತೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾದರೆ ಮನಿ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕೀ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್, ರೈಟ್? There is no money, there is nothing will answer. There is also a called as a corruption, whether it is only a subjective interpretation of the government. No, yes, absolutely. We are a developing country. There is a sphere, international domain protocol, developing country, developed country, underdeveloped country. What is the condition assessment for underdeveloped country? Lack of monetary policies and also the huge amount of the crunch over of the poverty, right? What is the takeaway of the developing country? The national capacity building in a mediocre level. We, India, is subjected to a developing country. Why? We have a futuristic sense. We have to be an aspiration of 5 trillion economy in the capacity over the future. So right now, currently, the 4.19 trillion capacity we have been reached. But we belongs to the fourth largest economy currently and aspiring for the third largest, and we have to combat the beat of international United States of America, Russia and China. So yes, absolutely in the popularization condition we are the number one, but in the economic sphere we are the number 4 along all the 196 countries, according to United Nations Charter, right? So, don't you think so, if our economy should build in a sphere of the GDP, gross domestic product, we have to reduce our own uncultural behavior like corruption, unorganized money, illicit money, so on. So, this is the fear of the condition of financing activity towards the terrorism. It will be contributing more significantly. You know what the statistics says? Nearly 46% of the money of the government, early, the 2011 issues, what I am expressing now, it is gone for the terrorist activities. Ideologically, it is a direct or indirect. That is not the sphere. But the 46% is huge. It may be in the mode of the corruption. That's why, liberalization happened after 1991, LPG reform. Liberalization, privatization, globalization. After that, the industries are set up in a huge manner and giving an employment in the thousands of years. 30 years, that means 3 decades. 1 decade means 10 years, right? What is the condition? Yes, we developed our skill, but also the corruption is more in terms of the huge capacity. Right now also a condition assessment from the government of sphere. Any project having 100% of the funding, the project is emphasizing only the 70%, remaining 30%, where it is going. That is an ideological organized crime. Organized means any condition which is an organized, which is not subjective to CAG control, right? Controller, Auditor General of India controlling, right? So, who is the exchequer of the audition or auditing the estimations or the costing or the budget? It is a CAG. So, unconditional bias it is replica. So, this is the society hampering thing. And concentrate each term, drug trafficking. It may be a security issue, but where it is the link between the ಮೂಲಭೂತ ತತ್ವ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? Drug trafficking is on basis of money. A grams of drug is harmful for the society in terms of body or the health condition, but it is also for the threat to national capacity building that will lose trillion capacity of funding. World WHO emphasized, World Health Organization emphasized 1 trillion capacity, 1 trillion of fund for each nation is lost because of the corruption. It may be a direct, it may be an indirect. So what is the takeaway of India right now? We have to proportionally to adequate in means of the livelihood, not above the manner which is interrupt, not below the manner which should be developed. We have to proportionally to equal balance the theory. You see, objective of dream is a segmentorious way. We have a dream of 5 trillion capacity in the name itself, no? Because China is a 13 trillion capacity. Okay. And United States of America is 22 trillion capacity. We are right now in 4.19 trillion. So, if you concentrate, nearly 12 trillion is needed to achieve the first world economy. I will emphasize the historical thing, you know. There is a great man of kingdom era, His Excellency the King, no matter whether it is Vijayanagara, Krishnadevaraya, or the Chola dynasty, or you concentrate the Chalukya in terms of Karnataka, Amoghavasha, Nupatunga, and also his legacy over Immadi Pulakesi. At that time, India global GDP is not even matched by any of the world peer. Any of the country is not matching. But now, this is the condition of force. Why? Because we are in a reaching of the last man result, it is not takeover, the balanceness is curbing away. So this is the huge impact over there. You know, in an economic sphere, Minister of Finance is a governing body to deal the things in an economic sphere. And also the monetary policy and so on concerned, the repo rate, reverse repo rate, CSR activity are controlled by Reserve Bank of India. And what about the IMF? It is a propaganda of monetary policy to reduce the cut-off rate if any disaster happens, if any war happens, like that. You know, the disaster happens, 8% of GDP is losses. Okay, that is an unbiased condition. And if you concentrate the corruption, India rank about 99 out of 180 countries, and we are a 64 score, you know. 32, a scoring happening for each and every terminology. The corruption protocol, there is an index report. In that, 32 score is we are getting. So it is very vulnerable, not even matching a first rank, you know. Right? First rank means a clean city, nothing. And in a statistically, we concentrate in each and every state about Union Territory or the state or Andaman Nicobar, including. Delhi is the worst state to deal the clean corruption. It's very highly corrupted capital city, though it is a capital city, very corruptive in nature. But if you concentrate the Mizoram, yes, absolutely very clean, not that much, not even 1% corruption is not there. Everywhere corruption is there, but mitigation of the corruption is very nominal there. So regional bias, the corruption is there, comparatively the other states. And you know, the governance system, the Tamil Nadu model good governance is best practices according to Niti Ayoga. So even actually it is contributed, the very less contributing corruption activity. This is the subjective interpretation of security plus economic sphere, and also it leads to the sustainable development of human, animal, environment, right? You know, I will give you a best example. What do you mean by FATF and what do you mean by PMLA? Financial Action Task Force. It's an international agreement treaty which is emphasized for the 40 points resolution. How to be mitigate the corruption, whether it is a shell company corruption or a mediocre drug trafficking or the organized crime or the criminalization of the funding. It may be a political allegation, it may be an administration, it may be a organized or unorganized. Money loss is money loss, which is not having any audit, that is the condition. You know, statistic I want to say, the GDP, UNODC, United Nations Organized Drug Control Bureau, emphasize 5% of the global GDP is landed. Landed means a money is not treated well. It should be in the black. Then it is called a money laundered. There is a significant factor. How can the money launder? Suppose you are taking a corruption in the future, you may be face the corruption. The same person, his own name, it won't be. Some other names, the property will be raised in terms of the site or the land or the property or the gold. It is traveling in each other. And you know what the huge interpretation of the organized crime? If you are corrupted, even in a digitalization, the corruption segment is massive enough. Sitting here, and if you concentrate the Kerala, the person is immediately transfer the money with several distinguished way. Another person are having a business, and you are looking upon the corruption, and you should be transferred to black to white. What is the condition? You are going to transfer for him as a business model. You are the silent partner there, but you don't have a name. Your name is not disclosed from the government of India. You are not even knowing it all. But condition assessment is same. It is a vicious cycle, circular vicious cycle. Anything which is related to a development which is having vulnerability that hampers the society. This is an ideologically we have to speak upon. You consider here, RBI 30,000 plus crore worth suspicious transaction. Swiss Bank. Earlier, Swiss Bank was controlled by India itself. You know why? In an indirect way. Because India customers are huge in a Swiss Bank. If the Swiss money are seized now, it is opened, rest of the 50 years, there is no need of budgetary allocation because that much of surplus of economy we are having, and what not the 12% of the GDP ranking. It may be a 50 GDP at that time, 50 trillion capacity if only the Swiss Bank community happened. And there is also in the ancient sphere why India loses towards the economic sphere from that century to now. We are reaching now 4.19, because the invasion of the kingdom era. Huge amount of the property are spoiled away. And Vijayanagara kingdom, it is one of the great exemplary actions. Market ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಳ್ಳಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂದರೆ ನಂಬ್ತೀರಾ ತರಕಾರಿ ಮಾರಿದಾಗೆ. So this is what the India. But we lost because of the invention. And yes, of course, the British era colonial government are helping us to modernize. But also it is hamper for the society because they are getting away our property to them. UK is now is a superiority. United Kingdom after coupling of the nations are very superior than us. The infrastructure of the China, way 30% more than us. Way 30% more than us. In a single lapse of 1 year, it will be boon in a bombastic way. But whereas our condition, you have to make the budgetary allocation. After that, you have to implementing it. And implemented, there is a lot of corruption, lot of welfareism. How come it is possible to reach? That is an irony. So, if you concentrate the economic sphere, there is a four trend balance. One is colonial distinguished, another one is not having willingness. You have to secure your own family. You are not society oriented. Then the growth is absolutely nil. So this is the condition. And the whole picturized statement is in this. India scores 64 on financial secrecy index. How much secrecy you are having? If the financial activity are curbing, or the losers, or even actually the crunch velocity is beyond the limit, then there is no growth. We are talking about the inclusive growth is the based growth and shared opportunity, and we are also converging our sustainable development goal number in terms of every sphere, and also we need to be a human developed capital fellows, it won't be. See the rate of India score 64 on the financial secrecy index. That's not a joke. And see, India ranked 96th out of 180 countries in the corruption perception index. What do you mean by perception? The willingness to corrupt. You may be you have a mind to corrupt, okay. Otherwise, you have to be pressurized the corruption. Means I have to give to my boss some amount. It is not highly possible to live in a sustainability with the way I need to be work in my own sphere. It is highly impossible now. That condition is the perception. So according to Corruption Perception Index, this is the recent statistic, 2024, last year, right? It is 96 out of 180. Half of the nations, we are in a half. So it is a vulnerability. This is the beauty. And the sector with the highest laundering risk in India is the real estate. You know the real estate, the property, Benami property, and mafia, and so on. What is shell companies? Shell company means the piece of the companies. And there is no owners, single owners, there is no directors, there is no single owners. You may be giving the money, if myself is corruptive, I have to give the money to somebody who is not having any name, but it is nowhere connected to me. They are giving money as a weight to me. It is running the show now. The condition is running the show now. So vulnerability is there. And the Hawala network, white to black, in a mediocre level, in a spin balance way, in a significant second-oriented way. If a fraction of second it is delivered. If you want money of 1 crore, Hawala business, even 1 second, the white money comes. So this is a huge vulnerability. So it is you see the currency, India currency here, how beauty. 2017 demonetization occurred. Okay, the spike rate of corruption interchanging from black to white is happening from 2018, 19, 21 and 22. Because the demonetization is what? Abolition of the last currency and involving the fresh currency so that the hard cash will be reduced and corruption is also vanished away. So this is the point here. That's why the developed country or developing country maintaining their economies in terms of 5 to 10 years margin. They will change the currency in a peer-oriented way, in a marginalized way. That's why they are not stagnated. See here, stages of the money laundering. This is the one concept which is laid upon. One is the placement, another one is the layering, another important factor is integration. That is what here is. See the picture. One is, you have collected the dirty money, that means the black money. Okay? After your collection, who is going to collect it? One is DRI, another one is Enforcement Directorate and Income Tax Department, okay? Revenue Department, right? They have collected the black money. What they will do? They will get to the one bank, RBI, otherwise one sophisticated bank which is, suppose it is SBI, RBI, Canara, like that. Any nationalized company, they will capitalize the money which is under control by the government, which is in one place. And after the collection, it will transfer to several distinguished banks for utility transfers. Means they will use it as a beneficiary for infrastructure development, beneficiary for health concern and social concern like that. What it will be done? It is in a sphere activity, capital business. So the growth will happen. So this is the network, This is the important network of money laundering or any subjective scheme. Money laundering curbing scheme. This is the best practice, placement, illegal money to financial system and layering, the complex transition to higher origin and also integration, clean money to the economy. right? After here, you will get a GDP, right? If you use the black money to bank and one bank to several bank and utilize for the proper way of infrastructure or any development sector, what you will get it? There is employment, there is GDP, rising the GDP. So, if our 140 crore of the people, of 18% of the world population, are willing to aspire, yes, I want to be clean myself, I want to do myself in an integrated way, the transparent way. You know what? Legacy of the 64 to 65 years, there is no need of budgetary allocation itself. We are running the show in terms of the capital. But now what is the condition, you know? Many of the corruption is not in the hands of money. It is in the hands of the property dealing. You know, someone are having 30-40 sites. So you want to corrupt and you are not asking the money. You are asking the property. You know why? Because money is not settled in a bank. You cannot deposit in the bank. Huge money it will be. So there is an audit there, right? But in a property way, you can resell it. You can convert as a property to money, or you can convert property to gold, like that. Earlier was in the century of 1970 or 1980, there is a money-oriented, clean hard cash will be propagated in terms of corruption. After 2000 to 2011, the gold mafia is running the show, the curbing the activity of the property right now. And now, this is the situation of Benami property. That means you are willing to corrupt and you have to give the property to her, and her property is not in her name, her family name, her friend's name. And wherever necessary, you are going to give it. Absolutely, there is a ratio, 30 to 70, 50 to 60, there is a negotiable ratio. This is ideologically blanket the eyes of the financial sphere of the India. This is the system right now. Yeah, type of money laundering. One is Hawala, crypto-based laundering. This is the now, the digital India after 2015 it is going to happen. What do you mean by crypto-based laundering? You have a coin of international sphere and you are going to deposit in their international way in a fraction of a second. There is no money required to hard cash. There is no need of balancing your audit in terms of property to someone. You are not having any fear whether he is going away from the foreign country by illicit money will be hampered. You are not going to bother. This is the condition now. And what is offshore laundering? That's a Hawala for India to USA, India to UK, India to any other nation. You know, 1 rupee is equal to $98, right? United States of America dollar. And several distinguished factors is way beyond for us. China, USA, Russia and so on. So, if you convert the money to international bank, what is the takeaway? Your wealth is such a massive sphere, right? So that's why people are earning there and coming here and they are having a luxury, right? This is the segmentorial way, offshore laundering. That is hugely developed in the coastal network, the coastal port transaction like that. And shell companies and dummy directors that I emphasize, and also real estate I emphasize. The bank fraud, there is a movie, you know, there is a movie, Ride 2 Ajay Devgan movie. You watch that, Ride 1, Ride 2, Ajay Devgan movie, one of the best movie. And Dulquer Salman, Malayalam movie, that name is Lucky Bastard, Lucky Bhaskar. Well, that emphasizes how the Hawala will be in terms of the banking sector. Right. So this is the type of money laundering. And you know, quote, money laundering is the oxygen of the corruption and organized crime. Any economic sphere hampered the nation in terms of oxygen to lead to crime, right? Nothing else will be done. The huge money, what is the need? You are having only 3 meals a day and you are drinking water in a sophisticated way, that to be 4% is available, and 18% of the food is available to sophisticated way, 11% of the food for 18% of the population. What is the takeaway? There is nothing in you. Only you have to make your own family happy, and your name should be in a big bang theory. That's one. That's not the case. Financial integrity is essential for national security. It is the verdict of United Nations Financial Action Task Force, FATF. This is the verdict. You can write it in conclusion. Financial integrity. Integrity means the justice of transparency and social audit and being an accountable enough. So this is the factor of national security. So you can quote it in a sphere. You know the constitutional legality. A good governance is the minimum government, and I emphasized earlier that government is the best that governs the least. And that government is the best that having a transparency, accountability, non-corruptive in nature, especially in terms of government sphere, and providing an absolutely freedom to the private sector and public sector to balance the ratio to society and monarchy. This is an agenda. Any national capacity building having a constitutional validity. You know why I always emphasize the GS2, GS3, the constitutional validity. Not necessarily you have to know the protocols. It is an absolute sense to understand how our Indian approach is going to be. It is a wisdom of a mirror for our nation. The constitution is the mirror of nation. So we the people of India having commonly to regard to constitute secular, democratic, republic, what is the sense if we keep on unbalance the nation towards the corruption, organized crime, narco-terrorism, drug terrorism, mafia, and real estate mafia, banking monopoly, right? We have a Vijay Mallya example, we have a Nirav Modi example. They are banning away. Right now, India is banned for those business magnates who is not having a capacity oriented. Insolvency bankrupt code is one agenda in 2015. Insolvency bankrupt code 2016. After that, there is an amendment there, 2021 amendment and so on. How should be a clean money should transfer? If not, what is the case? In a big economic sphere, and if you concentrate the clean, Jamshed Tata is one of the biggest example, the clean money. Tata Group, clean. They are the businessman, icons of the business. They are having a good transaction record. They are giving a taxation in a proper way. See, however, the businessman are the businessman when the shoot of the network should be in a clean way, the transparent way. Otherwise, he is not a good businessman. It won't be called a good iconic figure. He may be a rich in a covenant distinguished factor. ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, 1 ಕೋಟಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ, 1 ಕೋಟಿಯನ್ನು 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. In a proper way, I am telling, in a proper business way, this is the theme. But people are now willing to earn 1 crore in 1 minute. How come it is possible? Big unorganized crime, right? This is the era, this is the junction, this is the check balance, this is the problem. So, constitutionally, Benami transaction, the property under Article 3 under the A, the property right is there, that's the constitutional property right. So, Benami transaction Act is emphasized how should be the property should go in a reasonable, systematic way. And if you concentrate Article 265, no tax without authority of the law. That means if you have 1 crore, whether it is a clean or the white or organized, then it is okay. Whether you have a black, then the tax will get authority. 1 tax, 1 nation, 1 GST, 1 nation, that is the theory. And also Article PMLA 2002, no, PMLA means, what is that? Money Laundering Act. Money Laundering Act means anti-money laundering law. Means you have a 5 sphere here: drug mafia, Benami, banking sphere, and curbing an activity in terms of social monarchy, like that. If it is so, what is the takeaway? There is a special investigation team. The power should be given to enforcement directorate. Enforcement directorate is like a CBI. It's an unconstitutional figure, non-constitutional figure, right? And you know, sustainable development, if you concentrate clearly, here is the first and foremost is sustainable development goal number 17, partnership goal. You want a clean economy, you want a clean society, you have to be very clean in your mind and your dealship. However, the family growth will be happening for a sophisticated reason, whether your willing of the objective is clear. The petty jealousy, petty hamperness, the ego, lust, lot money lust, when curbing the society as well as your family, as well as your individual growth. That is the significance here. To combat the cross-border terrorism in terms of the money laundering. They are giving a terror attack to spy over the India. The example is Pakistan instance, right? They are giving the money to spin away to India, right? And sustainable development goal number 10, reduce the inequality. You know, the proportional imbalance is more when the height of the society is less, right? The proportional imbalance is more. In what way? The condition of the corruption interpretation is more, and the accountability transaction is less, and social audit in terms of the government sphere is unbalanced. Then the sustainable development can reduce the inequalities or play the role. And if you concentrate the SDG 8, the decent work and economic growth, people are willing to aspire the work. Yes, I want to become an officer, I want to go to such a massive company, I have to earn it like a king or queen, but they are not having a will set. What kind of earning you want to be? You only facing the money which is a beautiful umbrella to society, but it will act as a beautiful visa to society. The more the money, less the ethics, right? The more the money, humbleness should be there. That was the creature is. Then the corruption activity, the insurgent, would you like to earn more? Be a businessman. Having a business in a multi-segmentorial business, you are the key icon there, you earn it. Yes, of course, you are not earning in a massive scale for a consecutive years, but definitely after the 30 to 40 years, you are an iconic figure. So how long you are living? 100 years. And how long you are sustained? 64 years. Actual condition. After 10 years is not knowing it. So what for it is? That is the condition of sustainable development. Landmark judgment, you see, one beauty, you know, Vijay Madanlal Chaudhary versus Union of India, the 2022. Emphasized you have to give the supreme power to enforcement directorate to investigate, to scaling up, to research or the raiding activity and controlling the curb of illegal elect money. This is the best landmark judgment which is given in 2022. Right now, you saw in the media, there is a lot many politicians are raided enforcement directory, and not many business magnates are raided from income tax auditors and so on. There is a protocol there, administration protocol and judiciary protocol, tribunal, IT tribunal is there, and also a subjective interpretation of legalized phenomena, so on. You can write this without this judgment. This topic is not completed. You can write that. And the effective recommendation of 40 points in India is aligned to domestic law. It may be a picturized for government sphere, administration sphere, public sphere, private sphere. Those who are earning unorganized sector money, whether it is a black that is fixed, not like that it is only for the drug mafia, not like that it is a Benami property, or it is elect activity to correct the people or the society like that. Now, animal poaching is one among the concepts there. So, you may be heard these words are very rare, but you know what? In outside of the world, it is propelled enough in a significant 5-second distance. Each 5 seconds it is going now. So proportionally, that's why any developing country are losses 1 trillion capacity a year. 1 trillion capacity, you know. If you concentrate for 10 decades, how much you lost? 10 trillion capacity. Right? So what is the growth? Only 3% of the growth. Where's the 10%? Where's the 3% for developing country? Right? Systematic interpretation should develop. And you know, challenges. I want to briefly give the example, you know. You keep quiet, you should not any elected advantageous behavior or the non-corruptive corruptive behavior should not be hampered enough. You have to become the transparent and social networks should be clean. You know what? Absolutely in 30 years, the GDP will rise up. After the GDP rises, we may become the posh nation, one of the biggest posh nation, right? What is your standard of living there? I will give you the example. The village like Putturu or any coastal network or any North Karnataka, what is the condition? What is the condition in Bangalore? There is a huge difference. It is a metropolitan city. And if you concentrate the top-notch cities of metropolitan, example Mumbai, and you concentrate Hyderabad, what is the takeaway? Here is the Silicon Valley. There is a sphere of mafia in terms of the Benami, like that, right? And if you concentrate the Switzerland, China, the infrastructure is boon. USA, the systematic interpretation, clean air. Switzerland is the clean air. Ireland is the clean air. What is the condition here? So, if you keep quiet, make a so sophisticated ethical way, non-corruptive in nature, the nation capacity building is more. And if the nation capacity building is more, your standard of living is also contributing more. So, who is the responsible citizen to hamper our society? We, right? We are having a short-term temperature mindset. We don't have a long-term mindset. That is a problem. We may spend upon thousands times the sustainable development goal like that, but we don't have the tempo to temple ourselves to sacred enough in an ethical way. And challenges, you know, challenges. Low conviction to PMLA, that means the political nexus is more, the corruptive interpretation is more, political funding, electoral bond. You saw in the election theory, hopefully it is done by our own colleague, right? The day before yesterday, and I have done it in election topic, electoral bond. You know what? The theory is interpretation for the curbing of the corruption. There is no audit and political interpretation. Each and every politician has having a friend of a company, a managing director or a scale of CEO, and giving a fund, a corruptive fund to a company and get back to the white money. So this is no way related to the society well-being. And you know, use of crypto, dark web and offshore laymen. You may be feel upon this is the word is very new, dark web. Dark web means you are not identify where it is going. The money where you are, physical money is not there. Only thing in a way of property. You may be pass the property to you. You pass the property to you. You pass the property to you. You may be settled in Delhi. You are in Kerala. You are in Hyderabad. Where it is going? Who is going to audit? There is no way, right? After the consecutive 30 people, then when subjective time is coming up and scaling up, then the real property will come across to you only in original sphere, in a black to white mode. That is the dark web. So people are subjective to case study. You see, Punjab National Bank fraud. It is one of the national bank. The multi Nirav Modi Mahul Chowski. His name is wonderful. Fake layering offshore. That is an international segment to this way. And crypto laundering, online gambling. You know what? You need money in a such a way of fear. The online gambling is more. You don't know where it is going on. Even in a fraction of a second it is occur, converting the black to white in a fraction of a second. You can have the case study also. See, this is the beauty. The interrelation of money laundering and terrorism in a financial way. Concentrate deeply. One is the shell company I explained. Complex transaction means the dark web. And trade-based money means you are trading to national to international way in a sphere of huge money. And shared vulnerability means the society will hamper because there is no bottom-up approach. There is no money, All the money is curving away, right? And overlap in regulatory obligation, that is ED and also IT and GST people and also DRI, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. So their monitoring is not there. Each wing is different for the enforcement directory is also different. DRI is also different, right? This is the fact. Socio-economic impact, absolutely. When there is no growth, there is no social impact. When there is no social impact, there is no economic sphere, right? This is the whole picture. You can write it in mains with respect to money laundering to a societal condition towards the terrorism also. And solution, strengthening the KYC. Know your customer. What do you mean by KYC? You heard the word KYC in a bank. KYC ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾ ಆಧಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. What is that? KYC means know your customer. That is the definition. Why? Where is your property? PAN number should attach. What is the money? Where it is coming? It should be in a clean way. So know your customer. Ownership audit disclosure. That means I am the owner of my own property. So I have to disclose to the government, this is my ownership. And now integration is happening. All the properties, all the jewelries, any kind of asset should be in a single PAN number. That is in identity creature. And regulate crypto asset, increase the capacity of the enforcement Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, Income Tax Department, and Commercial Tax Department, who is serving for the business sphere and so on, like that. And real-time transaction monitoring. Way back of 1970, it is the conflict activity of the hard cash. After 2010, it is the conflict activity of the Benami transaction of the property. And now it is a digital era to transmit in a cryptocurrency way. So, dark web way. Now, after 2025, it is a dark web nature. So, curbing in a transition way of the cross-border terrorism is the key here. And capacity building. It is not the way of any institutionalization capacity. It is the way of sensible capacity in terms of individual and also the growth of the shared approach. If you are capacitated to, in an ethical way, your balance and approach is contributing to somebody who is in a remote area. And your contribution may be a welfarism mode and socio-economic condition is absolutely willing, and if the condition is willing, the growth of the GDP is maintaining its own dignified way. So India is reaching absolutely the 5 trillion capacity in future. That is the whole sense here. Okay? And you can write any of the solution. You concentrate the chart. This is the beauty of the chart. When the demonetization happened, 2017. Approximately after the demonetization, the 4-year consecutively, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, the energy transaction of economic of funding will be massive away. 2021, 22 is a massive scale cases. The pending of cases from ED, Directorate Enforcement is massive. See the number, 2021 spike. Right? This is the whole picture. You can write it in graphical representation in your more of it. This is the authentic document from Financial Minister of Finance website. And you know, where you see money laundering is the financial engine that power corruption, narcotic terrorism and organized crime. You know what is meant by? Yeah, money can change the world in a both positive and negative way. What is terrorism? It's a negative. What is money leading to a corruption, lack of integrity and ethos? And what is the narco-terrorism, the drug mafia, right? So, money can change in a fraction of a second. The more, you have a 10 rupees in your hand, you know, you have a 60 rupees in hand. I am having 60 rupees in my hand. How I utilize it in a proper way, that's it is. But I want to 16 lakh right now. I have to do the illicit activity, right? So money can change the sphere of mindset. How much you use it in a proper way? I will give you a chocolate here from 60 rupees. I will maintain my integrity and my happiness toward my tangi, tamma. That's a big boon theory. But if not, I want to myself, okay, I have to earn 60 lakh or the 60 crore, then I have to do the illicit activity. There is no happiness there. ದೊಡ್ಡವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿಗೆ ಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಹೀಗೆ? The more the illicit activity, less the integrity, and what for you give the thousands of property to you. She is my sister, I am going to give the thousands of property to her in a benami property. What she thinks upon it in a psychological way. She may be happy, huh? Are you happy with this? Are you happy? No. Right? So, the clean trends of velocity is important to deal the happiness and smile. Ultimately, economics is living standard objective. It should not be an objective. Economics is an happiness index. It should not be an objective of elect sense. Economics should be in an ethical way. It should not be deal in a sophisticated hamperness to society. Economics is the sphere to deal the life with dignity, according to Article 21. It should not be hamper the society in vulnerable condition, and it should not erode the GDP of the nations. Any judgment of the copy, if you saw from the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, or the High Court, your take upon it, judge is filled by drop. That means a erode of nations are contributing is wellness when you are in a transparent way, when you are in a positive way, when you are in a social concern, when you are in a objective mindset. Money is not an objective. Objective is to welfareism unless it is duplicated. Thank you.